I call myself MultimediaJay, and sometimes I need to basically walk away from everything and just live up to my name for a bit. Whether it's watching movies, playing video games, or anything of that sort. Sometimes you just got to stop and ask yourself, what on earth am I still doing streaming or making videos or anything of that sort? What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. I've spent most of the weekend relaxing, and that's why I'm so out of it. So, went through some of the backlog on the movies, went through some of the backlog on some of these movies, and nobody's going to care. So, I don't know why I'm even here, quite frankly. So, yeah. It's been one of those weekends. That cleaning fluid? Yeah, that's the hand sanitizer. Put that over there. It's been one of those weekends where, you don't want to do anything too constructive, and then it turns into like a cycle of doom, so to speak. You just can't bring yourself to do anything constructive because you haven't been moving around, because you've been relaxing a lot. So weekends are supposed to be relaxing, but it's just one of those things that contributes to the never-ending to-do list that some guys are infamous for. And so tonight, I want to have a rather quiet, low-key discussion about what, frankly, a lot of us multimedia nerds have to think about, and that is our worthless movie collection. It's interesting. I've been involved with these discussions. This will go into the HD reality check as well. But I've seen these discussions about Blu-ray and DVD and digital and stuff along those lines. But fundamentally, the trajectory of that movie collection that you're spending all that money on is towards being something that's pretty worthless. Unless, of course, you have something like a rare collector's edition or something like that. Unless you have a rare collector's edition with a lot of collector's edition stuff, or something goes out of print and there's collector prices all over the place for it, which not everything that's out of production gets collector prices. I mean, look at the HD DVDs that are floating around for this new group of nerds that's getting into HD DVD because it's an old obsolete format and they want to collect for it. So, I mean, you can still get like 300 HD DVD combo pack, $10, which is in the ballpark of the Blu-ray version of the same movie, which is also a combo pack as well these days. So, I mean, if you look at the prices of everything, the inevitable end of all of this is a worthless movie collection. Unless, of course, retail sales stop completely, which I highly doubt that they will. They bring in money. They have something to collect. It's a form of free buzz. There's some social elements to walking up to someone's movie shelf and seeing a bunch of Blu-rays or DVDs or something and be like, oh, you're into this movie too. Maybe we should watch it together sometime. Or, if you got nothing better to do, let's invite a few friends over, pop open some drinks and watch this movie or something along those lines. I don't know. I got a feeling some of the people worried about that stuff may not be taking into account the problems with social skills that exist on the smartphone generation these days. It's just the thing where we're so used to talking to each other through screens that the whole idea of going over someone's house, in 2012, I joked about going over a friend's house being a thing you do on the internet. We have that nowadays. So lesson learned, people, be careful what you joke about, because you really can't. There are some things in life that you just can't joke about, because if you joke about it, somebody out there is going to try and do it. So anyways, a little bit of updates. I got a Reader's Digest book of facts and a bunch of books propping up the movies tonight. And just to have some books on camera to prove that I actually have read books at one point, and just kind of something I thought about during the day today. Is this under people and blogs or science and technology? People and blogs. Let's change the category off to science and technology, because fundamentally the main discussion is going to be, the main discussion is going to be about the inevitable worthlessness of our collections, barring adverse events like certain titles going out of print or some kind of collector value springing up around physical media. Most traditional physical media that you may run into, like, this 007 Spectre release that's the non-special packaging and it's literally just the movie, it's going to be basically common titles, which is a term you might hear if you're looking at people buying old video games. But that's the thing, is that common titles a lot of people have, only worth a couple of bucks. It's not like, say, well, let's just put it this way. The ultimate punishment for the Blu-ray fanboys who thumbed their nose at everybody for not getting into Blu-ray as quickly as they did. The fundamental booyah that we're all going to have against these Blu-ray fanboys is they will have paid premiums for movies like $30 per movie or whatever, back in the bad old days of the early days of Blu-ray, only for those movies to now have combo packs costing half the price or even less. Or for some of those movies to now be bargain bin movies floating around the $5 mark, or sinking so much in terms of retail price for a new copy of the movie that it doesn't matter if your disc gets scratched, because just buy another $5 disc, because that's what's going to be out there. So just throw it away. You know, that's the world we live in. And what's more, if you, let's buy secondhand then. Yeah, good luck on that. You know what I keep seeing when I look for Blu-rays on eBay? $2 movies, which is the clickbait to get you to click on the eBay listing, and then it's $3 shipping, so you're spending $5 plus tax. It's a bargain bin movie, but it's secondhand. So if it's a combo pack, you probably won't get the digital code unless the previous owner didn't use it and it's still valid. So, but I mean, I think digital copies are kind of moot at this point, because Vudu actually strikes deals with rights holders where you can scan the UPC of a physical media, something that you have, and actually pay like $2 or something to get a digital copy if you didn't get one initially. So buying physical media gives you a discount on digital media if you don't get a code to get something for free anyways. But the thing we have to think about is, besides digital codes not working and stuff like that, you buy it on the internet, could there be hidden scratches? The pictures don't show. It's sight unseen, so you don't get a chance to really try it out. Although, you know, eBay is kind of infamous these days for being pretty liberal towards buyers. So all they have to do is make a claim that you sent them something bad, and they can pretty easily get their money back in today's world. Not like before. I think it might be a situation where maybe the best way to sell old movies is just join someone's yard sale or something. Go somewhere, you know, do cash, and then just get them off your hands. And even then, it'll probably be like $1 per disc for DVD, and then $2 for Blu-ray. Might be more worth it to just donate to the Salvation Army or something. Which gets me wondering if the Salvation Army does have movies in their stores around here. Or maybe like Goodwill or something, or Savers or something along those lines. But the thing with secondhand movies is that the prices on a lot of common titles, there I go using that term again, has plummeted so much that you might as well just buy new. It'll be cheap. You might even get a digital copy out of the deal. Or there's a lot of movie packs out there, similar to when DVD started having those 4 film favorites and stuff like that. There are movie packs out there that will give you the equivalent of bargain bin prices on movies, and it'll be new. You won't have to worry about, is it scratched? Is there a problem with layer rot somewhere? Is there something else going on? Was there a scratch label side that put a hole in the material so it's an instant skip with no chance of fixing it via a resurfacing tool or something? Now, so is there that going on? You won't have to worry about that. It's because you're buying new. You're buying new. And then, of course, the thing to remember with older Blu-rays is re-releases. So if we go back to Casino Royale here, this is the OG, like, 2000s release. Casino Royale's been done over a couple of times. So what if you have a situation where you have an older 2000s Blu-ray movie, but the newer release might come with a DVD, a digital copy, or may have been redone with a newer codec, so it'll actually be a better watching experience even though it's Blu-ray. It's kind of like Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Elder Scrolls Skyrim. They're both technically part of the same generation of gaming consoles in terms of when they came out, but Oblivion was at the beginning and Skyrim was at the end. And it was a huge graphical difference, even though the hardware was the same between the two games. So, yeah, we've entered that kind of bizarre world here. So, what did I watch today? Well, as I may have hinted at with these 4 Blu-rays right here, as I might have hinted at, and we can actually feel the degrading quality of the cases too. This is a lot harder than this. I mean, this is practically lamination plastic. It's very squishy compared to, and Skyfall is kind of like that too, and so is Quantum of Solace. So it's only the Format War era Casino Royale that actually has a hard shell of a case. But I don't know, is that what steelbooks are about these days? Is you don't want the fluffiest movie cases in the world, so you do that. So anyways, yeah. I hadn't seen the Spectre movie yet, so I made sure to pick this up to round out my Daniel Craig movie collection here. So I already had Quantum of Solace. So obviously Casino Royale, from when I first got into Blu-ray, followed up with Quantum of Solace when that went on sale, was laid off and couldn't afford anything for years, and played catch up with Skyfall later on, which is why I have this specific case design, because all the 007 movies were being sold with that kind of design, so it all looked the same on your shelf. And there's some box sets going around too. And then we have Spectre, which doesn't even have a digital copy. It's literally just the disc. And a reminder to recycle when you're done with this coaster. Well, no, this movie actually reminded me more of the classic James Bond movies with gadgets like the cars that shoot and stuff like that. Some that Daniel Craig's Bond character kind of moved away from compared to older Bond movies. But to see some of those spy gadgets show up, it was kind of cool to see some of that. There's another one in production. There's another one that's in production that comes out later this year. I'll probably grab the Blu-ray for that when that becomes available to round out the set. And then, of course, for previous Bond movies, like the Sean Connery ones and the Pierce Brosnan ones and things like that, I'll probably just pick up Blu-ray, editions, probably, pick up Blu-ray box sets or something, or compilations. Because, I mean, kind of like, Casino Royale was a 2-disc special edition that I picked up. However, in today's world, it's a sort of thing where you're thinking shelf space. So if you have, for example, a Daniel Craig collection that looks similar to this and has multiple discs in it, and it takes up one spot on your shelf. If you're just somebody who just wants to see the movies and the special features and doesn't want clutter galore of all of the like collector's edition stuff and all the different box sizes, like that humongous Bond 51 for the 50th anniversary of Bond, that was pretty cool. But I'm not one of those people who really wants to have a lot of little knick-knack type things around on my shelves. So it's not a problem if I just have regular movies. Save that other stuff for the collectors, including the collectors' prices and things along those lines. So, played catch up with the Bond movie, so these can now go to the shelf finally. I've been keeping them around in order to play catch up with, just talk about them on stream and things along those lines. And then, of course, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. This is my first ever DVD, and just like the Blu-rays, it looks like the DVDs were a lot more hard shell back then than they are today. So this is the Computer Wore tennis shoes, very, very squishy. So it's literally just the disc. That's it. So Disney DVD. The only this movie's from the 60s, so it looks like an old TV Land show when you watch it. There is a Blu-ray version of this, but it was specific to the Disney Movie Club. So it's $40 for the 45th anniversary edition on Amazon, but the original distribution of it was through some kind of Disney Rewards movie club or something, so the mainstream release is still only on DVD. Now, the Computer Wore tennis shoes is a movie that I give a lot of credit for my own nerdiness, because I talk about how when I was looking to do better in school and, try and make up for all those wasted years I had as a bratty little kid who was a little too angry about things like losing my mother at a really young age, the Computer Wore tennis shoes was on TV one night, and I just watched it and took notes and started nerding it up. And I don't want to say it's fake it till you make it, because I've always done somewhat well with school, but I never focused on it until I saw that movie and got some ideas from it. So then I go into school, I'm being the super nerd and everything, graduate first in the class out of middle school, which was an upset, by the way, versus somebody who was going off to a prep school who their family was very surprised that I was number one in the class and not their daughter. But then went off to the first in the class in high school. Then there was something that was in my yearbook as a high schooler that really woke me up from the narcissism of my teenage years. And that was people writing that they thought I was a really cool person once they got to know me. So you see what the message is there. I'm a little too detached from my fellow human beings, but once people get to know me, they think I'm pretty cool. Otherwise, they just have, whatever images they can craft in their head, and that's who I am to those people. So in college, I didn't try to be number one in the class because I didn't want to completely throw away having a social life or being able to do anything besides homework, especially in a college environment. Still wanted to graduate with a fancy Latin title, so I graduated magna cum laude and the member of a business honor society, but I wasn't going crazy looking out for number one, even though I was going to school with a lot of future corporate folks playing the corporate game who would be doing exactly that, trying to bump everyone else underneath them. And some of them went to work for large financial firms and things like that and weren't as affected by the financial crisis and the ensuing recession. But it was a lesson learned that, sometimes it's better in life to get to live your life instead of go crazy trying to be number one at everything. But the computer wore tennis shoes. Big inspiration for me becoming more of a nerd when I was going into middle school. I picked up this DVD and I didn't recognize any of it. I was like, what on earth is going on here? Then, this is the Kurt Russell movie from the 60s. The one I saw, I now know, was the 1995 remake made for TV that Disney and ABC put together with Kirk Cameron as Dexter Riley. So that's the one that I saw. That's the one that inspired me. This one had a lot more like 60s sci-fi, 60s computers references and things like that. Not so much, someone sneaks into the computer lab late at night and gets zapped by a lightning bolt, which puts the entire internet inside their head. I actually think if Disney ever put the other Computer Wore Tennis Shoes from 1995 on DVD, I'd probably pick that up too, because there are some stylistic liberties that make that version of the movie different than this original 60s version. Some people like this one better because of that, but I liken it to Scrooge movies. There's a difference between the Great Depression era Scrooge movies and the 50s British version with Alistair Sim, the classic that is, then the George C. Scott version, the 1971 musical. As stories get retold, if they're done right, they'll be retold in different ways that give them all character. So here I was, having not actually seen this version of the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch the movie that inspired me to be a nerd all those years ago. What is this? Then I found out about the differences between the two. And yeah, this technically counted as going through the backlog because I'd never seen the Kurt Russell version before. There you go. Well, that's been fixed. Then I dug around YouTube. Somebody VHS recorded the 1995 special and just saw that there again too, and refresh my memory on what inspired me to be such a big nerd. The thing is, though, the 1995 Computer Wore Tennis Shoes never went anywhere. It was TV. There's no DVD. There's no I've been digging around looking for any kind of physical media for that release whatsoever, but I'm not finding it. Of course, it wasn't rated as highly anyway, so I don't know if they'd actually make one. I don't even see it on digital stuff either. Might be a rights issue, too. Considering it's contemporary, too. Have you ever seen The Surfer's Guide to the Internet? That tacky 90s movie about using the internet with the jingle, you're going surfing on the internet. It's just, it's contemporary to that. And the way it portrays computers and the internet is very, very 90s. So anybody who knows anything about computers nowadays might actually, unless you were around back then, you might not actually understand some of what happens in that movie. So there's a situation where one of the nerds uses an acoustic coupler in the movie to send something from a payphone or something. But if you don't know about 1990s dial-up technology, you're not even going to know what an acoustic coupler is and what the ups and downs of an acoustic coupler were. But even if you understand acoustic couplers and their limitations with 1990s modems, then you're still not going to understand. You're still not going to understand it unless you actually have seen some, stuff like that. But yeah, watch the Bond movies on Friday, and Saturday was dedicated to nerd movies. Revenge of the Nerds, watch this again, kind of as a warm-up to the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. The thing is, though, I thought I broke my sound system with this Blu-ray. I was like, why does the sound all weird? I checked the settings on the home theater box. It bounced over to stereo. And I'm like, why does this sound weird even for stereo? Because the soundtrack, even though it's DTS, is DTS 1.0. So it's DTS mono. Why there was a movie in the early 80s, was it the early 80s, right? Why there was a movie in the 80s still being recorded in mono when stereo is being sold all over the place is beyond me. You'd think that a nerd movie about nerds would have a bit more technology in it besides a mono soundtrack. I don't know. I put it in front channel mono. The big thing I was trying to do with my sound system was not have it all go through the center channel speaker, because I hate pinhole mono. It worked on an old-fashioned tube TV with a little speaker in the corner that vibrated the whole cabinet so that the whole TV had some resonance to it and contributed to the sound. But a center channel speaker is like pinhole mono. Like you drill a hole in the wall and you're standing up looking through it, listening to the sound as it comes through this little pinhole. It sounds terrible. I'd rather take mono sound and spread it out to the front 2 channels, or if not a full surround mono type thing where it's basically the whole system's running like a PA. But at minimum, I want surround to come out, I want mono to come out of left and right, not just center, because coming out of center with my setup is just awful. You know, it's, you don't want to be watching a whole movie like that. It just sounds like everything got squeezed together into the middle. The Revenge of the Nerds is exactly the kind of movie that just begs for an upmix, but I don't know if anybody's going to do that or not. The movie itself is very niche, so to speak, being a nerd movie and whatnot. And there are sequels, but the sequels are only available on digital, except for Revenge of the Nerds 2. That's on one DVD compilation. I saw the sequels on digital, Netflix, haha, but the only way to get them is to buy them digitally now. And of course, considering the sequelitis that plagued this series, I'm not surprised. Seen Tron a couple of times, saw it on TV once on the Disney Channel, then saw it on Netflix once before Disney created Disney Plus, of course, and now we have the Blu-ray release. The 80s special effects and the trippiness is kind of cool without the fuzzy edges of a DVD, but I don't know if it's really worth it that much as a Blu-ray, considering this movie, it inspired, number one, the blue look that I have, but also the special effects with the 80s computers. And again, people nowadays might not even get the computer references because the movie is from the Atari days. So, you know, this whole making a fictional world inside a computer with folks wearing like blue neon hats and stuff and going around doing that. And even the term end of line from old command line programming might not be something that people understand unless they're old enough to, you know, have been around in those days. So I wound up, you know, just watching Tron. It was cool and all. I know the sequel's out there and I've seen the sequel before, but I'm not so sure I want to actually pick up the sequel. So I wasn't as fond of it as before. Then I just finished everything off with Spaceballs because of all the special effects in Tron. It reminded me of the plaid sequence in Spaceballs. So if you haven't seen Spaceballs yet, what's wrong with you? It's Mel Brooks' spoof of Star Wars. But I did answer my Spaceballs question. This DVD is part of a 2-disc pack. So I did find the DVD version that I haven't been able to get rid of because it's a little too scratched up for anyone to do anything with. But there it is. So had this for a long time before Blu-ray was a thing. So I had this, you know, I've had this since the mid 2000s. And then we have this. This was actually, now that I think of it, one of the first combo pack releases that I ever saw. It's not advertised as one. The newer ones will be advertised as combo packs. But it was really cool when I first encountered this, because I knew about DVD versus Blu-ray. The idea of DVD and Blu-ray in the same case like this as a shelf space saver, and of course, you can watch this one on the big screens, and your smaller screens where the resolution doesn't matter as much can all go to the DVD, and this even has the full screen version on one of, I think it does. Side A, widescreen. Side B is flip side, standard. Yeah. Like square screen was the standard anytime in the last 10 years. So yeah, the flippy disc is the DVD in this 2-disc combo pack. But it's nice to see those combo packs showing up at all. Because I remember when it was the Blu-ray industry trying to be like, please watch nothing but Blu-ray, replace all your DVDs. It didn't work out. Nowadays, of course, we have digital doing their thing and whatnot. Okay, now we need to get to the brass tacks. The fundamental problem with all of this. And that is, whether you like it or not, your movie collection is essentially worthless. I talked about earlier, I mean, what if I wanted to free up shelf space? I do have duplicate DVDs, and I do have duplicate Blu-rays. I have duplicate DVDs and I have duplicate Blu-rays. The only real way I could get rid of them would be to sell them at a yard sale, donate them to a library, or donate them to the Salvation Army. And even then, do I want to go to all the trouble for the single-digit dollars I will probably get for them? So just to give you an idea. Let's see. Skyfall. There it is, Spectre. Just to give you an idea. 007 Spectre. It's a $10 release right now. I think it's $10 anyways, but it's the cheapo release. It's not the 4K version. It's not the 4K combo pack, which the combo pack is 4K. This is a bare bones Blu-ray, similar to what happened to DVD releases after Blu-ray started picking up steam. So they got pretty bare bones pretty quickly. But this would go for like $10, $11 or so. Let me just check that. 007 Spectre Blu-ray. What's it going for nowadays? Yeah, $10 on Amazon. $15.90 for the Walmart version, and it's not one with a digital copy. Oh, it got rolled back to $10 to play ball with Amazon. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, so 007 Spectre, $10 movie. If I sold this on Declutter, I'd get 28 cents for it. Woo! 28 cents. Boy, isn't that something. Now, let me poke around on eBay here. Let me look for Blu-rays on eBay. Ah, there we go. Blu-ray. DVDs and Blu-ray discs. There's a drop-down thing. They can get something for that. Stranger Things Season 1 Collector's Edition Blu-ray new for $6. What is it in Target nowadays? Oh, that's the thing. Frequency Blu-ray new, free shipping, $8. But these are all resellers that are selling what they say is new. I don't know if they have a shrink wrap machine or something like that. But Blu-ray DVD digital, new Venom, $11.60 for Tom Hardy and Venom. Let's see, Venom Blu-ray Amazon. Compared to 12 something on Amazon, 11 something with free shipping. They're trying to undercut Amazon just a tiny bit. So hope they have a lot of them to sell, because otherwise I don't know how they're going to make much of anything off of that. And it's 20% off as well. Was $14.50, now trying to play ball with Amazon. 20% off 4K and Blu-ray movies. Choose yours on drop down, etc. Let's see, Blu-ray lot, you pick $4, discounted shipping after the first movie, and no digital copy. So say there's only one movie out of this Blu-ray lot that I have open on eBay right now. The thing I keep running into with eBay is that it's often $3 shipping. So they use the price as clickbait in order to get you to click into the listing, but then it will tell you that the movies will have a $3 shipping, etc. minimum for this sort of thing. So, and I'm looking at these titles that are available. Now I got to wonder, do they have scratches? I mean, they're used, so are they going to have scratches? They're going to have issues with disc rot or layering or something along those lines. So I'm rolling the dice for how much less than buying the $5 and $6 movies that exist nowadays, especially with some of these common titles. Let me just keep this eBay listing open on my screen here and cross-reference it right now to Amazon for something new. So one of the titles I see is, Jurassic World is there's Jurassic World. Let's put Waterworld. Waterworld Director's Cut. Waterworld Blu-ray. Target price $5. The Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray is $20. So, but Waterworld is it part of a 10-film collection? I think I see it. Let me zoom in. Yep, there's a 10-film sci-fi collection. So, Oblivion, Repo Man, Pitch Black, Pacific Rim Uprising, Serenity, Seventh Son. Ooh, yeah. The Serenity. Yeah, there we go. I remember the TV show that movie's based on. I had a friend in college who was a fan of that stuff. And Waterworld is part of one of those 10-movie bundle packs for $40. 40 divided by 10, 4. So if you don't have any of those other movies yet, you can get it new for the same price and get a bunch of other ones too. So let's see. Is there another... Well, why don't we just click into the Waterworld Blu-ray, which is the 4K release. The regular Blu-ray is $7. So you can still get it new for $7 off of Amazon Prime. It's a 2009 release of Waterworld. So, yeah. Is it really worth rolling dice for a few less dollars? And that's the whole thing here. We're not talking the difference between new and used being very significant anymore. So Casablanca, new Blu-ray Anniversary Edition remastered for $10, free shipping, at least they're advertising that, versus what's on Amazon. Casablanca Blu-ray, it's auto-suggesting things. The 70th Anniversary Collector's Edition is $40. The regular one is $11.66. Plus $3 shipping brings you up to 15-ish or so. But there's also a Blu-ray double feature and some other stuff out there. So yeah, there's some deals to be had on eBay if you know where to look. Yeah. There's also, $10 to get a digital version. So if you know where to look, you can find something that's a deal if it, if there's no gotchas or anything from these resellers. But if I look at, for example, Blu-ray movies, which will actually, once I get plural, it starts showing me lots. And by that, I mean lots of movies. They're trying to sell a whole bunch of movies out of a collection. So Blu-ray lot you pick, $4. They discount the shipping after the first movie. So you better be planning on buying a lot of what's in their pictures. So you're talking $6 movies here. You know what else you get $6 movies from? Box sets. 20% off 4K and Blu-ray movies and TV shows. Choose yours on Dropdown. So let's see, $5 each. Any shipping? What's the shipping cost? Free economy shipping. So Jaws is one of them. Jaws Ultra HD, that's a deal. But I'll bet it's sold already. That's something you're going to run into is limited quantities with this stuff as well. Somebody probably already spotted that and beat you to the punch. So the original picture eventually turns into clickbait. The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 is in this lot. But unfortunately, there's already a box set for that too. And what's the price on that box set? The Godfather Blu-ray. Talking what, $6 movies for this bundle? The Corleone Legacy Edition Trilogy, Godfather Trilogy is $27.33. So like 27. See, 8, 6, 24. So yeah, 27. How do these people make any money then? 27 number lock. There we go. 27 divided by 3. Yeah, $9 movies, but that's a special edition. You probably dig around a bit more and see the Godfather collection is 23 divided by 3. We can also turn the brightness on this keyboard all the way back up. There we go. Had it turned down earlier to watch. So $7 movies versus $5 from reseller who might not still have it when you go to click the listing. So a little bit of a convenience fee there, but Amazon, quite frankly, is within like a few dollars tops. It's within a few dollars tops on Blu-rays with a lot of these. Couple of deals if you know where to look and snag them before someone else does, and it arrives in one piece and all the other potential gotchas of this type of stuff. But fundamentally, if you wanted to join this scene, how would you do so? Where's the money to be made when you have to spend all this time getting all this stuff and then trying to flip it online? And you're talking, when you do the math on some of the Blu-ray releases out there for more popular titles or common titles, you're talking single-digit costs for movies, or maybe $10 at the most or something like that. I mean, and you get digital copies and other stuff as well. You get combo packs with Blu-ray, DVD, digital. So that's the thing. You're not going to be chasing after much per sale. Maybe if you had lots of things to sell, you could do that. But if you have lots of things to sell and you start eventually turning into Amazon, how do the numbers add up for that? So that's it. You could end up theoretically with some out-of-print movies that are worth something. But for the most part, you're looking at the sad reality of ending up with a worthless movie collection. Because you go to all the trouble. Maybe you have free shipping because you're covering the shipping costs. What's that going to cost you? For what? So people can buy like a $2 Blu-ray or something with a $3 shipping fee and be up to the $5 they'd get from the Walmart bargain bin or Amazon or something along those lines. To say nothing of if you have run into a coupon code or something. Or what about going digital? Or what about just buying a subscription service? That's the thing. It's all part of the reason why the minute you start talking physical media these days, you're automatically talking about an enthusiast format. Because you really have to be deliberately chasing after something related to it being physical media to be interested in that in the first place. So, what kind of a world is this that we live in? I mean, big reason to buy movies is you really, really like them and you want them on your shelf. That's it. Fundamentally, though, it's an absolute stinger for everybody out there who is thumbing their nose at people regarding Blu-ray. Because they paid $30 per movie and they try to encourage others to do likewise, and now what? Maybe if you have locals who aren't looking at internet prices on their smartphones as they peruse your wares, you could have a yard sale. Maybe you could have a yard sale, free up space on the shelves and stuff like that. But fundamentally, though, when $10 movies are going for like 28 cents on these reselling services, spare me. Useless. Might as well just enjoy the movies till the discs break. I think that might be the idea, too, with some of the physical releases out there, once they're past the premium that people will pay to get them earlier. Once they pass from new release to common title, then what? Yeah, cheap to get into, really cheap to get into Blu-ray and get some nice-looking movies easily, but plan on getting the ones you really, really want. Don't just get movies just because they're on Blu-ray. You could stream them instead if you're not that interested in them. You can probably find them somewhere. But the sad reality is that, yeah, you're looking at the end game of this, unfortunately, is going to be a rather worthless movie collection unless you have some outliers, like a collector's edition with a lot of collector's edition stuff, or a really nice looking box, or something that people would like to have on their shelf or in the backgrounds of their YouTube videos or what have you. But that goes for just about a lot. That goes for a lot of other stuff out there too. In the world of video games, though, there are outliers too. Like, for example, Smash Brothers Melee is a common outlier. GameCube Smash Brothers that people will pay more for than some of the other Smash Brothers that have come out since then. But with movies, just kind of see the movie, see the special features. It's not like, say, getting good at playing Smash Brothers or something and then going to a Smash Brothers Melee tournament at a local hobby shop or something. It's not really the thing with movies. So, yeah, I mean, that's the world we live in. Something we got to come to grips with. And this is the part where, of course, the Laserdisc people show up and say, well, you know, I still got these collector's edition Laserdiscs that, well, yeah, well, those were the enthusiast format of the 90s. So maybe there's someone somewhere in the world that might buy them, but will it move very quickly? Who knows? So, yeah. It's the unfortunate side effect of the dropping in all these prices is that, yeah, it's less expensive to get into Blu-ray nowadays, but it also means, you know, don't plan on getting out of it. Keep the discs until you're pretty much ready to throw them out. Keep the discs until you're pretty much ready to throw them out or use them as coasters or something. I mean, for the most part. Plus, I mean, even some of these older movies, you have to be looking for something really obscure to find something that's gone out of print. So, and I think even, you know, things like the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. That was a Kurt Russell movie, square screen, so it was probably made for TV back in the 60s. It's from the 60s, so widescreen was already a thing back then. So it might have been made for TV. It certainly looks like an old TV show when I watch it. So there's never been a widescreen movie based on that Computer Wore Tennis Shoes thing. So that might be why there was never a Blu-ray release until that 45th anniversary edition, and even then it was a special collector's edition that now costs a lot on Amazon because of limited quantities that were released. That's a collector's thing for collectors to go after. If you just want to see the movie, you could stream it. You could dig around for it, find it somewhere. That's the world we live in, though. 4K is going in the same direction. I'm actually surprised at how cheap 4K is. Thing is, though, it's going to be the players that are going to cost money. Unless you get in one of the newer consoles or something. And there's a chip shortage right now making a lot of electronics more expensive. So, what are we going to do about that? Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, you know, get movies because you like them, you want them on your shelf, and you want to be able to just watch them without having to worry about if your internet goes down or if the streaming service pulled the movie or something. That's the world we live in nowadays. Don't know if it's really worth getting stuck up about Blu-ray at all anymore. Or anything for that matter. Especially with these people seeking out older formats. They're not just HD DVD. There's people trying to get back into VHS as well. So they're far enough removed from the VHS days. They're like, oh, let's see what tapes can still do. So good luck on that. There's some people out there similar to the people that got back into vinyl and cassette. If there's something that's gone long enough that people are like, well, what was that like? That'll trigger enough curiosity for people to get back into it. Yeah. Well, let's all face it. We've got most of us have worthless movie collections on our hands. And the generations doing everything on phones and smart TVs and stuff over the internet are going to value physical media even less and wonder why probably calls boomers for still having it. Although physical media has numerous pluses to it that will stick around as long as the discs are still being pressed. I mean, the optical disc did not be as successful as it was for decades between CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. You could even count HD DVD in there as well, since those sold before the format was discontinued. But the little optical disc it's been successful for decades, largely because it works. Simple. It wasn't successful off of spit and elbow grease. There was something good about it. Something good that persists to this day, long as the thing doesn't get scratched. Or who knows, maybe we'll see a day and age where physical media is more along the lines of the Nintendo Switch. Somebody is like, hey, SD card movies. Who knows? I'd say that streaming being mainstream is more of a sure thing than that, though. So this is going to be my last discussion for a while. This is the discussion I want to leave in the #1 parking spot because, quite frankly, I'm pretty disappointed with YouTube. I'm running a test right now with one of my alternate phones signed in on the personal account that comes with my Google account, which is subscribed to my channel, which is a brand account. I haven't seen any evidence out there that YouTube is even letting my subscribers know that I'm making videos. And you could say, oh yeah, ring the bell, set it to all notifications, but why should subscribing to someone and telling the system, show me more of that person's stuff, be a two-step process nowadays? So I have reason to believe, especially with some of the things Creator Insider is saying, like, for example, algorithms find videos for viewers, they don't find viewers for videos. I have reason to believe that YouTube is doing their darndest to cover up how the algorithms crush the little guy. So it's a mess, really. And I think we're going to see more of that. It's going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better. But I am testing right now, and the YouTube videos that I do make in the next couple of days as I go through all these movies and stuff like that, or however long this takes to get through the backlog and, satiate my interest in Blu-ray for a while. But the YouTube videos are going to be an experiment. I want to see if I ever get notifications for these videos. Technically, I should, and I'm going to turn off almost all the other apps on the other phones on that phone so that YouTube is what takes up the space in the pull-down menu. But I want to see if I ever receive notifications of new uploads, new streams, etc. I know streams won't work because stream notifications are tied to all notifications, so you have to ring the bell and hit all notifications. So I don't know how YouTube plans on growing as a streaming platform if it is a two-step process just to get notified that somebody is streaming. So with all the limitations of live, you'd think YouTube would be a little bit more supportive of creators than that. But with the videos, I want to see if I ever get notifications. Because quite frankly, I've had more fun with ESO and watching movies than making videos or streaming. So I might work on some videos on the side, but as it stands right now, I have more fun watching movies, so I might as well just do that. The numbers could have been better, but when I barely get any concurrence when live, but it somehow ekes its way up to 30 views and then stops. That's why I want to test out the subscription system. I've known the subscription system is a computer middleman for many years. I want to see how bad it's gotten. So, and any one of you could do this too, unless you're actually uploading YouTube videos on a personal account. If you have a brand account, use your personal account to sub to it and have that be your only sub on your personal account and see if you ever get notifications. I'm legit thinking that YouTube is just, forget it. I already know 2021 is going to be a bad year for online media because the pandemic bubble is going to burst. And so with things being that crappy, what's the point? Anywho, let's watch some more movies. Maybe do some videos here and there. But by and large, streaming is not going to gobble up the majority of my free time unless I actually want to stream. And I think that's far more of a healthy approach to streaming than a lot of what's on Twitch these days. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.